Hi, Mystery Tales here. Today I am going to explain a movie called The Silence, a thriller movie released in 2019. Let's begin it.
A team of cave researchers were hammering a part of a cave in Pennsylvania, but when they dig deeper into the cave, they found an abandoned, dark chamber inside it. They immediately informed surface team about the discovery of the chamber. But suddenly, a swarm of unknown species of bat-like creatures came out of the cave and violently killed the researchers. Then they fly out of the cave to the outside world. A teenage girl named Ally, who lost her hearing in a car accident, was walking down the street and watching something on her tablet. Suddenly, a group of boys started mocking her from behind using some sign languages and were laughing too. She knew this because she could quickly adapt to her deafness and can sense everything around her, but she chooses to ignore the mockers. Ally's father Hugh and his friend Glenn were working as engineers. In the middle of their meeting, Hugh received a call from his wife Kelly, who informed him of Ally being mocked by some boys at school, and Ally's parents were worried about her. Ally was living in New Jersey, with her parents, her grandmother, Lynn, who has terminal lung cancer patient, her younger brother named Jude, and a pet dog. One day, Ally was walking home from school, and suddenly her friend Rob covers her eyes from behind. Rob promises her that someday he is going to buy a car so he can pick up Ally every day from school and drop it home. They walked home together, holding hands. Rob seemed to like Ally. When Ally gets home, she greeted her granny and told her mom why she was late. Kelly taunts Ally and Rob were dating. All of a sudden, Ally saw her dog was barking at something by looking outside through the window. She had a feeling that something was wrong, which the dog could feel that. The same night after dinner, Ally saw some smoke was coming out behind the tree. When she went to check there, Ally found her grandmother was smoking and chilling on a bench in the backyard. When Ally caught Lynn smoking, she begged Ally not to tell her mom about it, and Ally also agreed. Then she went to her room and watched some news on her tablet, and she was shocked to see same weird flying birds all the places. At 3 a.m, her mother woke Ally up. She goes into the living room and saw her whole family was watching news on the television, including Hugh's friend Glenn. The news says that there is an outbreak of unknown bat-like creatures in the cities of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. The strange creatures are referred to as Vesp, and they are easily provoked by loud noises. They have destroyed all the places in the cities and killed almost everyone there. The U.S. government declares a state of emergency and asked people to stay inside and stay quiet. Some lady made a video, which says don't make noise. A loud noise swiftly startles everyone, and they saw several warplanes were flying in the sky. Hugh and Glenn went inside the house and started to watch TV again. All were shocked to see the bat-like creatures were coming out from a dark hole towards the outside, as they were easily attracted towards the noisiest places. Hugh suggested all to go to the countryside, which tends to be much quieter than the city. Lynn gave Kelly all her cancer medicines to keep them with her. Ally brought her pet dog and put her safely inside the car. Glenn also joins them, bringing his gun. They finally set out in 2 cars. Meanwhile, Ally had a video call with Rob, as they drove away from the city towards the countryside, which was much quieter than the city. In the next scene, an old train station was shown. A train was stopped, and the passengers were sitting quietly. But suddenly, a baby started to cry and everyone was looking worried. Then, one of the passengers came and took the baby away from the mother. But, the baby's mother fought back and took her baby back. Then she voluntarily stepped down the train. While she was walking on the rail, the baby started to cry again. The mother was terrified that she started to run in other direction. But the Vesps heard the baby's crying, and in a fraction of a second they killed both the mother and child. Ally and Rob were talking to each other and promised to stay in touch until the outbreak ends. After a while, they stopped at a gas station to fill the tanks. Ally took her dog outside to pee, and it suddenly started barking at a man with a shotgun. The man pointed his gun at her and tried to hijack Hugh's car. Just Hugh was about to give him the keys, Glenn manages to shoot the man in the leg, and they drove away from the gas station. The following day, they encounter a massive traffic on their way. Glenn decided to take another road. Hugh also followed Glenn. When passing through the jungle, out of nowhere, a herd of fleeing deers was crossing Glenn's path, forcing him to tumble down the embankment. Hugh and his family went down to help Glenn. He was trapped inside the car. Hugh tried to help him in all possible way by opening the door but couldn't help him. Glenn asked Hugh to get a black color bag from the back. When Hugh handed over the bag, Glenn took out a shotgun from the bag for his safety and told Hugh to leave him behind and keep moving to a safer place. Then, Hugh returned to his car with the family. While Hugh was starting the car, the dog suddenly started to bark again. Seeing this, Ally told her father to stop the car. All of a sudden, the Vests came from nowhere and attacked their car. Hearing this, Glenn started firing his gun, leading the Vesps away from the car. The Vesps attracted towards the firing and started to fly towards Glenn's car. Glenn ultimately sacrificing himself for his friend's family. The Vesps returned to Hugh's car as the dog continued to bark, so Hugh decided to let the dog out of the car, leaving Ally crying in disappointment as she knows the dog is going to die soon. After they waited for a while, Hugh told everyone that he needs to try something, and goes out of the car unexpectedly. Suddenly, Lynn started coughing, drawing a Vesp to the car again. Hugh then slowly picked up an iron rod and throws it away to distract the Vesp. Hugh realizes that the Vesp cannot see anything as they only attracted towards noise. As the Vesp flew away from the car, Hugh returned back to his car. He went to check his friend Glenn, but this time Glenn was dead. So Hugh set Glenn's car on fire as a decoy to attract the Vesps towards it so that they can move away from them. In the car blast, few of the Vesps died. Hugh and his family got a chance to run away from the Vesps. While resting in the jungle, Jude saw a house at a distance and called his father to have a look through the binocular. Hugh told everyone to go that place. Finally they reached the house with a high fence and a locked gate. While opening the gate without any noise, they made a sound from the bell hanging on the locked door. The lady, who was unaware of the situation, came out of the house, shouting, which caused the Vesps rip her apart. Soon they find a storm drain to enter the house. Hugh decided to crawl first through the storm drain, and then beckons them all. When he reaches the front of the house, the rest starts to crawl in when suddenly a rattlesnake scares Jude, making him scream hysterically. The attracted vested bite Kelly's leg. Hugh instantly distracts them by turning on a wood chipper, crushing the vests that fly away. Finally, the family peacefully enters the house later that night. They treat Kelly's wound, and Ally tries to contact Rob, who tells her that his parents are dead. She learns that religious cults have sprung up. The disaster. She also tells Rob to come here, but then the call got disconnected. The next morning, Kelly's wound was getting worse and infection was spreading. This left Lynn in disappointment. She went to Hugh and Ally to find some antibiotics for Kelly as she didn't have anything to cure her. Hugh and Ally left for the city, giving the responsibility of Kelly and Lynn on his son Jude. This time they opened the gate without making any noise. Arriving at the city with no one around, they started to search for a medicine store. A strange man, dressing like a priest, was watching them from far. Finally, they found a pharmacy store which was locked from the front. So Hugh decided to go from the back of the store. The same strange man followed them there too. Unaware of that strange man, Hugh and Ally were looking for medicine. Finally, Hugh got the medical supplies, and Ally discovered the disgusting Vesp's eggs were growing inside the corpse abruptly. All of a sudden, the Vesps entered the store. Hearing to Ally's surprised voice, Hugh had an idea to distract the Vesps by activating a fire sprinkler by lighting a mop on fire. He managed to escape from the store with Ally and the loud noise made by the fire alarm. As soon as they come out, the strange man approaches them and introduces himself as a reverend. He tries to recruit them into his flock, named the Hush, but Hugh and Ally choose to leave him as the reverend points out that he doesn't have a time. They return home with the antibiotics, and Kelly recovers swiftly. Next day morning, the reverend finds the family's hideout and showed up with his followers. He requests Hugh once again to join their flock, but Hugh refuses and asks them to leave them alone. The reverend writes that the girl is fertile, referring to Ally. Furious, Hugh brought out his gun, forcing the reverend and his followers to leave the place. The reverend told Hugh to keep quiet and left with others. Same day night, while everyone was sleeping, Hugh and Kelly suddenly awaken by a creaking sound from outside of their house. Hugh looked outside through the window and found nothing. Then, he went to the hall with a gun in his hand and looked through the main door of the house and found no one was there outside. Then Jude went again to check the door and was surprised to see a little girl outside. Kelly opened the door and let the little girl in. Ally was shocked to find a cell phone stick to the window which started ringing. On the other hand, the little girl was hiding several cell phones inside her clothes, which started to ring simultaneously, attracting the Vesps to attack their house. So they tried to put the phones into the water, stopping them from ringing. Some of the cult members managed to break into the house and abduct Ally. Lynn, who saw Ally being abducted, followed them and tried to rescue her. She restrained Ally's captors at the expense of her life, while Ally escaped. Unfortunately, one of the cult members takes Ally as a hostage with a knife on her throat. Eventually Hugh and his family fought back and killed most of the cult members, including the reverend, who was severely beaten by Hugh. Then Hugh and his family returned home safely and little girl of the cult also left with her mother. A few weeks later, the family travels north across America, finally arrives at the refugee. Ally charged her tablet on an abandoned jeep and receives a message from Rob, telling her he's already there at the refugee. Lastly, she reunites with him, and they start hunting the Vess with arrows, adapting to the new world of predators. She wonders whether the Vess will adapt to the cold, and whether humans will adapt to a soundless lifestyle like she did when she lost her hearing.
Please subscribe to watch more videos like this and turn on notification bell. Leave a like to help the channel out. Thanks.